If you're in a state in which you feel like you're not motivated enough, you feel pessimistic, you feel lazy, you feel tired all the time, and you don't have the energy to show for your goals, and you really want to feel that positivity and that enthusiasm, then you might be focusing on the doing part. Why am I not doing what I really want to do? Why am I not making more content? Why am I not making my website? Why am I not launching my product or my service? Why am I not talking to my ecosystem, my community about it? And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna make a really nice to-do list. Okay, write a copy for my website. Okay, make a sales call, write a message to this person on LinkedIn. And then what happens? Either you would have done all of them, but next day you're like, again, you have to pick yourself up and boost yourself with that energy so that you can get your to-do list done, or worse, that you don't show up at all, or you don't get done what you really wanted to do. Have you come to a realization that it's really not about the doing? And I know it's not even your fault that you're over focusing on the doing part, and when you don't do it, you just punish yourself with really horrible low feeling emotions and thoughts, as if that's going to change your life. If it had to, your life would have changed already. So what's the missing piece? The missing piece is what you were not taught in your childhood, which is the being part. Now, you know what? We're going to make it really easy for you, and we're going to break it down to this one very important element of the being, which is your why. And I'm not saying your parents' why, your teachers' why, your boss's why, or somebody that you really look up to's why. Your why. And if you think that, Yuvika, I already know my why, then if you're not showing up in your life for your growth, then that why, either it is not relevant in your life anymore, or it's not your why. So in this video, you're gonna know exactly what is your why. But before we get into that, why is it important to know your why? Imagine this reality. You know why you're doing what you're doing. Why is it important to you? Wouldn't you show up with crazy enthusiasm? Wouldn't you wake up feeling like, I just cannot wait to put my hands on my work, my vision, what I'm building? Wouldn't you be more engrossed in a bigger reality? Not only bigger for you, but also for people who are connected to you. And if you're like, I don't give a shit about that, I just want my money, I want to spend my money, I want to have an incredible life. Well, if that was enough, you would have been living that life already, right? And we're not at all getting into a fake sadhu mode that no, abandon your needs and only care about other people's needs. Not at all. If your needs are taken care of, you are able to show up for others in a more empowered state. So your why does not mean that it only has to be a why for somebody else. It's a why for you as well, right? So we're gonna break it down in a way that you have your absolute brilliant clarity. And after this video, you're like, no more YouTube. I just want to get my hands on my creation, and I want to put my work out there in the world. And of course, more of that wealth that you are seeking is going to come to you because you are showing up. So first, get clear of what is your current why. Let's just put that out of the way. But you can only do that when you know what your current why is. I'm going to be very honest. My why was, for the longest of the time, I need money so that I can show my parents, my family, and the people who doubted me that I am something and I've made it. And my second why was that I have enough money so I don't have to depend on anybody, I don't have to listen to anybody, and I can just shut my brain, not do any work, and live my life peacefully wherever I want to live. That was such a shallow why, but at the time that meant the most to me. Why? Because I was coming from a space of, I don't want to hear tane, I don't want to hear judgments, I don't want to hear or feel like I am less than, I'm not enough. Most of the people are actually living that way. Their whys are mostly for the survival mode. Well, there is nothing wrong with that. The only problem with that survival mode why is it has a lot of struggle and super slow progress, because you are waking up every day so that you can survive, and there is no joy, no expansion in that state of being. And you're like, Yuvika, let me just get the money, pay my bills, show everybody I am something, then I'm gonna have fun, then I'm gonna feel that joy. That's the most opposite flow of creation. Again, it's not your fault. It's something that we were taught. Now, imagine that you wake up with a great mood. Isn't that day always more productive, always more feel good, and you get more work done, but also on those days you have more synchronicities. What does that mean? That you get these amazing offers or invitations or pieces of information that earlier you didn't even know that you needed them or how to get them. That is literally an outcome of you being in a higher state of emotions. So get clear of what is your why, whatever it is. Be vulnerable with yourself. Nobody is coming and reading your notebook. Keep it hidden if it needs to be that way. Really get raw and real with yourself. No judgment. You're not gonna judge yourself. Second, what you're gonna do is you're gonna recall every such moments and experiences that you've had in the last week, last month, last 10 years, or in your entire lifetime that made you feel so good. And what you're gonna do after that is check with yourself what values were in play in those scenarios. For example, it was so easy for me to recall those scenarios. I was coaching people for free for the longest of the time while I was doing my CA, while I went to US to study, while I was building my talk show, and everything else in between. I was just constantly coaching people on text, on calls, on audio calls, video calls for free. When I recalled, when did I feel the most satisfied, most content and most, in my flow, in my groove, was when I was coaching people, because my brain was off and I was fully in connection with my intuition and I was connected to the other person and the value was flowing through me. And I was like, does that mean that I love this work? Because for the longest of the time in my life, I hadn't owned the fact that I love coaching, because I was like, coaching, I don't want to do this business. This is such a meh business. I want to do like big business, That was my conditioning. Then I checked with myself what values were the topmost in this scenario. And it was impact. It was being there for somebody else. It was the joy of giving. And it was also the joy of sharing in a way that everything that I've learned, I've implemented in my life and I've grown. Now I get to share it with other people. So then I got clear of my why, which is joy, impact, giving, expansion. Because when I was giving that coaching session to somebody else, I saw them expand in like 30 minutes, 1 hour. And I was like, this is the most beautiful sight I could ever have in my life, to see someone evolve in front of me. Open your journals, in fact, write down all these amazing scenarios, whether it's work related or not. In fact, I would say you will find your why most probably in those scenarios which are not work related, because they don't have too much heaviness or significance, and that is why you'll be able to connect with them and you'll be able to connect the dots that when I was feeling super awesome at that time, what were my values which were on the top, and write them down. You will find your why amongst those values. Now, this is the fun part. And if you're very visual of a person like me, you're gonna really enjoy this. The question is, you're gonna now reverse engineer. What does a life of dash 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 look like? So let's say your values are love, creation, joy, expansion, and creativity. So what does a life of creativity, expansion, joy look like? Now, this is such an open-ended question. At the same time, it is streamlined. So the clarity that I got was, man, I love expansion so much that I want to live everywhere in the world. Like literally, that was my vision. And no wonder that I moved from my parents' place to Delhi, made Delhi my base for 2 years. And I was traveling in between. I was in Europe for 2 months, here and there, And then I just finally let go of that home and I literally became a bird and I was flying. I was in Australia for like a month and I'm in Bali for like 1.5 years, and I know it's my time to move beyond Bali. And expansion looked like a life of living wherever, doing wherever, working with incredible people who I choose to work with, hiring people and working with my team, the team that I choose to pick. And that also had an element of love, creativity, right? So what your mind will start doing is, now that it has this direction, it will start filling in the blanks. That's what you really need to find your true why, to jump off your bed every morning, to live the life that you were always envisioning, and now it's getting created bit by bit every day. Now, this is going to be the juiciest step, and it may be uncomfortable if you haven't been showing up for your vision, if you have been stagnant in your process. That's totally all right. It's very natural, which is play out your values every day. Now, it's really nice to think and tell people that, you know what, I'm working on myself, in my inner self. I have this vision that I'm really manifesting. But when it comes to actually living it on a daily basis, very few do it. Why? Because your old self will not want you to add anything new in your life, and that is where the real test lies. If your value is expansion, and if you are talking to a friend on a daily basis who is all about complaining and pessimism and what's wrong with the world, you're literally acting against your value, and you're gonna actually feel this split on a daily basis whenever you're choosing your value. So split is not wrong, but not choosing your value on a daily basis, I won't call it wrong, but it's just putting your dream in a dream state. It's not making your dream your reality. So what I'm saying is, actually play it out, live out your life through your values, and you're gonna find your own juicy spot of why am I showing up. When your value is, let's say, health, and you order a burger from a really cheap place, you'll be like, but this is not in congruence with my why. Either you will go ahead and buy, or you will not. The point is not to stop yourself from buying, the point is to at least start considering your value. Now, when you are in this process, you will find yourself also make new choices on an everyday basis. If your value was self-preservation, I don't want to put myself out there, so value could be fear. Yes, negative things can be value as well. And that's why it started raining and the dog is going crazy and running everywhere. So, coming back to the point, if your value was fear of not being seen or fear of being seen, and now you're choosing the value of creativity or contribution, you will but naturally start, let's say, making more content. You will start putting your courses out there. You will start showing up for your values that you were not doing so far. Right? Got it. So, Yuvika, what does this have to do with my deeper why? Your deeper why is gonna emerge from you acting out from your values. Now, I realized eventually my deeper why was to see people living their life on their own terms, on their values, which looked like choosing the partner that they want to choose when they want to choose it, marrying or adopting any other structure of or frame of being with someone, doing business on their terms, not to prove to anybody else, not from a space of ego, but from a space of heart expansion, and a lot more, just seeing people be themselves. When I found my bigger why, all this fear of what if I get rejected, what if I don't get the views on my content, what if I make a sales call and I don't get a sale, what if my parents tell me, what are you doing, like why are you not succeeding like this or that. That was just my fear. Or what if I start disconnecting with the people I've known so far because they don't align with my values anymore, what if I just fail. And all of those negative what ifs, they did not matter, because what mattered was my bigger why, which is to see people live their life on their own terms. And I'm so driven by it that from a message that I send in my WhatsApp community, you can join, the link is in the description, to creating content, to the courses that I am making, to the sessions, live sessions that we do, to the general conversations I have with people I meet in Bali or anywhere else, they're all driven by my bigger why. And that's why my life is that of expansion, of creation, of contribution. I'm literally creating, I don't know, like 20 pieces of stuff every day, which includes my general life too, right? So imagine being so engrossed in a bigger picture, which involves you, which includes you, the healthy, wealthy, happy you, that you never ever have to worry about your fears, your worries, your self-doubt, because all of that will be taken care of by your higher state of being, which is driven by a higher why. So if you have any questions, do share in the comments, and what is your biggest takeaway, do share that as well. And the third thing I want to really hear from you is, what is your why and what are your values? I'm Yuvika, your mindset shifting coach. I'm going to see you in the next video. Mwah.